Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So today we're going to work on the double Sofia bracelet, and I just wanted to thank you all for such a great response to the single, to the regular Sofia bracelet. So many of you loved it and have already made it and posted it on Facebook and Inspire Readers, and that warms my heart. Thank you so much. So I got a lot of requests already for a double, and that was in the works anyway. Like I'm with you. But you're a little ahead of me as far as the request. I just have to get it done. So here it is. Here's the double. I have a couple of magnetic clasps at the end. I say use those, at your own risk, because they often come apart. So I haven't been able to test this one that long, but that's all I have at the moment while I restock all my clasps. So here it is. Very pretty, very sparkly, not hard at all. Kind of a similar attachment to when you attach a single flat spiral to make it a double flat spiral. So not complicated, just a little bit of going around and around, but not a big deal. All right, so I'm going to put this aside, get a materials list going, and we'll get started. Okay, let's get a materials list going. So you need some 6mm pearls, Druks, round beads. I'm using I think this is Black Currant. It's from the Eureka Moonshadow collection, so that's a couple of collections ago. And these are so gorgeous. They're very similar to the Swarovski, what are those called? Something purple pearls. I forget the name of them. They're a gorgeous pearl though, but these are really beautiful too. Just a side note for those of you who have the collections and you're just staring at them, because that's what we tend to do. We buy these things and then we just look at them. For those of you who don't, I get it. I pull them apart, but sometimes you just stare at them, and because they're so beautiful, use them. So grab your stuff. Pretty much everything that they have been putting in these collections so far is everything I use on a regular basis. Bicones, crystals, pearls, Druks, lots of Rivolis, chatons, all that. I mean, that's right up my alley. So if it's up yours and you love, you like my channel and that's what you come for, then pull them out, because, you don't want them to sit in their bags. All right, so you'll need those. 11/0 seed beads, 3mm bicones, 4mm bicones. You'll need 2 clasps because we're doing a double, and I'm going to double clasp it. You can clasp it any way you like. You can put a single clasp on it. Size 10 beading needle, 8-pound. Oh, Fireline, where are you? Okay, you are. And a stop bead. Let's see. Let me grab a stop bead. Here we go. Got a little stop bead going. Sorry about that, guys. All right, that's all you're going to need. So gather up your stuff and we'll get started. Now, don't forget to look in the description box below the video. Sizes, colors, shapes, amounts, links to all my materials, links to bead websites I love. You know the drill, all down there. I have to say it every time. So I want to thank you for listening, for those of you who know it, and just go down there automatically. Like and subscribe if you enjoy my videos. Ring the bell if you want to be notified periodically when I upload a video. So I'm going to clear this off and we'll get started. Thread your needle with about 5-6 feet of thread, or whatever you can handle. You can always add thread, and I'll link the adding thread video in the description box below this video. I always do. Put on a stop bead and leave enough of a tail to sew in. I'm going to put the clasps on separately this time. So if you want to put the clasp on as part of the tail, then leave a longer tail. So I put on my needle and drop down to my stop bead, one of my 6mm beads. Look how pretty that is. Love that color. And 7 of my 11/0s. I'm just going to, coming around to get the beads, those 11/0s on the side of the 6mm. So just sewing through the other end like that. I'm going to pick up 7 11/0s. Going to come around the other side, and here I'm going to pull in for you. There we go. Now we're kind of circled around both sides. I'm just going to sew up through all the beads on the top or on this side. Like that. I'm going to pick up a 3mm bicone, and I'm going to sew through this group of 11/0s on the other side. So I'm placing the 3mm bicone right there. It's going to kind of go where the hole of the bead is, and we'll get it in there. Just keep sewing around like that till you come to the end of that group of 7, and see how that sits right there. pull, just like that. Pick up a 3mm bicone. Gonna sew through all the beads again to tighten everybody up right through that bicone, through all the 11 O's, and the bicone, like that. We have our first unit done. All right, so get that done and then come back and we'll continue. Okay, we're back, so let's continue. So I've done several units already, but you'll be right here at this point. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up 3 of my bicones. So I'm exiting here. I'm just going to sew through the other side of that bead I'm exiting from, like that. Go through the side seed, the top bicone and the side bicone. Going to pick up 7 11 O's and my 6mm. I'm going to drop them down. I'm going to just come around like this and sew through all the beads. Do them all at once or a little at a time and give a pull. And if it travels like that, don't worry about it. Just pull it inward and then it should, and pull it like inward and down a little bit. There you go. That should circle the 6mm. Pick up 7 11 O's. So through the other side of the 6mm. I'm going to go this way, not through the bicone, but through the 11 O's on the bottom, or on this side. Just going through all those 11 O's. So that's the 7 on this side. I'm going to pick up a 3mm and sew through the 7 on the other side. So I'm going to go through the first 3, and that will sit that 3mm right where the hole is. Go through the next, all the 11 O's on the top, like that. And then I want you to connect to the bicone now. So we're exiting this 11 O, go through this one. Right through that bicone, back through all the 11 O's and out that 3mm. That makes it nice and secure. Oops. And this is what you'll have. Now, at this point, these two, I have just done several, so this is what it looks like. So you're just going to repeat it, so it looks like this, all the way down to the length of your bracelet, and then come on back, and we'll continue. Okay, we're back. So I'm doing a mini. So here I am, here's my thread. So I've just taken my needle off that thread and I'm just going to leave that for now. And I've threaded a new thread with about, 6 feet of thread. And I'm just going to put a stop bead on in the middle. So I have 3 feet coming out of one end and 3 feet coming out of the other end. And I'm just going to sew through this, the bicone right here. So that way I'm going to use one side of my thread to embellish one side and the other side to embellish the other side. Okay, so I'm just going to ignore those threads there, and I'm working with, here's my working thread. Just going to sew through the next 4 seed beads, like that. Going to pick up 3 11 O's, a 4mm bicone, and 3 11 O's. Now let me just put this in my hand this way. Like that. Okay. So I have 3 11 O's, a 4mm bicone, and 3 11 O's. Going over to this next unit, I'm going to count 4 seed beads up from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4. I'm coming through just number 4 right now. Like that. This way. Notice the way my needle is going. It's not going forward. It's going sort of around. Like that. I'm going to sew through the next 3 seed beads through the bicone and a little 3mm right there. Pick up 2 11/0s, sew through this guy, so the 4mm bicone. Pick up 2 11/0s, sew back through the 3mm bicone. Get my needle in there, like that. A little pull, like that. Back up the 2 11/0s. Make a turn through the 4mm bicone and the 3 11/0s. There you go. Pick up 3 11/0s, a 4mm bicone, 3 11/0s. Going to the next unit here, find number 4 seed bead, 1, 2, 3, 4, come in this way, coming in this direction. Sew through the next 3 11/0s, down the bicone, the little 3mm bicone, pick up 2 11/0s, through the 4mm, 2 11/0s, through the, back through that 3mm, like that, through the 2 11/0s, make a turn and come up through the 4mm bicone and the 3 11/0s. That's it, that's what you're going to do. So do that all the way down to the end of your bracelet on this side and all the way down to your end of your bracelet on the other side. And then I want you to make another centerpiece the same length as that you made the other one. So don't do the embellishment, just do that whole center line again. So you'll have one finished bracelet, you know, without the clasp, of course, embellished, and then you'll have one piece that's just the same length of only the center, like center spine, let's say, of the bracelet. Okay, so go have fun and then come on back and we'll put it together. Okay, we're back. So I have my 2 pieces. So I've taken this new piece that I made, just the spine beads, and I put on a thread with a stop bead, left a tail, and I've sewn through the 3mm bicone and 4 of the seed beads on the side. So this is what it looks like. I know I kind of went ahead of you a little bit, so do that. So you're putting on a, unless you happen to have some thread left over that you can just make a turn with. So I've just added a thread, stop bead, tail, through the 3mm and the first 4 seed beads of that unit. Now I'm going to pick up the other one, and I want to just show you this real quick. So when we look at this unit, I have just the unit, you know, the beads that surround the pearl. So I have 7 beads around here. So when I hold it this way, there are 4 beads, and then here's where my connection was, over here. So I have a little thread right here, okay? That kind of separates these beads with 4 on top and then 3 on the bottom. It's still the 7 beads. It's just when I added the side beads, you know, I came through, remember, bead number 4. So I just want you to hold it this way. Because there are 7 beads there, if you hold it this way, you'll have 3 beads at the top and 4 at the bottom. So I just want to be consistent as far as how we're putting this on. So you're going to do it so you have the 4 here, and then there's a little connection, and then 3. So now, coming out of bead 4 on this one, I'm just going to sew through these 3 on the side, like that, and the 4mm bicone. Just like that. I know that seems a little confusing, but you'll get it when you look at it. Okay, so I'm going to hold it. Let me see if I can get this in my hand in a way that I can. Okay, there we go. So we're on like that. Pick up 2 11/0s. You're exiting this 4mm, and let me see if I can just like super pull in. Okay, you're exiting this 4mm bicone, sew up through the 3 on the other side, on the other unit. Pick up 2 11/0s, sew back down through the 4mm and the next 3 seed beads after that 4mm. Okay, now you're connected. All right, so I'm just going to let you get to that point and then come back and we'll continue. So here I am. I'm exiting that third seed bead after this 4mm. So I'm going to go to this side, and I want to connect these two, this center row of beads to this unit. So I'm going to count down 4 beads, 4 seed beads around the pearl, and I'm going to go down the 3 after that. So you have 4 above and 3 on the bottom, so the last 3 you're going through. Like that. Okay. Now we're going to make a turn, and we're going to sew through this unit of 3mm bicones. So through this one, through this one, through this one, and then up through this one. Pick up 2 11/0s, sew down through the 4mm bicone, pick up 2 11/0s, sew back up through the 3, so that 3mm bicone, across these 2, back down the 4mm and the 3 11/0s beneath that 4mm. Okay, so that's going to be your connection. So you're just going to do that all the way down to the end. So then get that done, meet me back here, and we'll connect this side. Okay, so I've come down to the end, and I'm exiting the last 3 seed beads after this bicone. So now I want to go and connect to this unit. So I'm going to come down, so I'm exiting here, I'm just going to come down the last 4 seed beads on that unit, and here I'll move my thumb, like that, and through this bicone. You want to connect this nice, nice and tight, so that's pretty secure. I'm going to go around this whole bicone unit right here, just to make sure that the ends are secure. You can tie a little half hitch knot here and then go through this one, tie another half hitch knot and go through the next one until you feel that it's nice and secure. You can even, so if you go through this one, let's say I tied a half hitch knot, you can actually make a turn and go up the pearl too, and then go through this bicone. I mean, it's fine. You're making a thread path, but oh, I missed a bead there. Don't skip a bead. I skipped a bead when I went around. But just anywhere where you can sew it in easily. All right, so get that done, and then we'll start this side. So we're almost done. So you want to do the embellishment on this side. So I don't, I put a thread on because I had cut my threads off, but if you have a thread left over that you can turn and go in the right direction, then you can do that if you like. I just added a thread. So I'll just get you started. We're going down the first 4, just like we did in the beginning. First 4 seed beads. And let me grab my, oops, sorry about that, guys. I need my 4mm bicones. Here we go. Okay. 3 11/0s, a 4mm bicone, 3 11/0s, find bead number 4, up you go, this direction, down the next 3, through the 3mm, 2 11/0s, through the 4, 2 11/0s, back through the 3, down these 2, make a turn, and down the 4mm bicone and the 3 11/0s, and you know it from there. You're just going to do that all the way down. So get that done, and then we'll put the clasp on. We'll be done. Let's get the clasp on. So I'm going to be putting 2 on each end. So here I have a little magnetic. So I'm going to add a thread. So the way I add a thread, no matter when I add a thread, whether it's a clasp or in the center of a project, whatever, if I run out of thread, I cut a piece of thread, however long I need. I put on a stop bead and leave enough of a tail to sew in. I go back, I figure out where do I want to add that thread, and I want this thread, I want the thread to come out of this bicone. So I just go back a few beads, I sew up through the few beads before the bead I want to exit, and I exit the bead. That little stop bead will hold the tail, and now I can continue beading, and I could sew that tail in whenever I want. All right, so I'm going to pick up a 3mm bicone, my clasp, one end of my clasp, and another 3mm bicone. Exiting here, just coming around. Clasp is on. I'm just going to continue sewing through all the beads and the clasp again. Like that. Back through. You might want to do it 3 times and then sew around any beads, you know, to reinforce, you know, and sew around a bunch of beads and then put some half-hitch knots in, and there you go. You have your one end of your clasp on. Do it for this side too. Only make sure that you put the, you know, right magnets to attach at the right end. So this one, you know, is going to go on the other end. I have done it where I put the wrong one on and then they just repelled. So just a little note there. All right, so here you go. Here's our mini bracelet, sort of. Here's our full bracelet, which is just love. Just really enjoyed making this. Oops. There you go. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I think there will be more Sofia pieces coming up. I just haven't designed them yet. I'm working on a necklace, which I think is going to work, but you know, I want to play with it a little bit before I go ahead with it. All right, so there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.